Well, here we are looking out at the Sierra Nevada mountain range. Uh, yes, I am in California, a place that probably not gonna be spending a lot of time here for reasons. Um, but this is a beautiful area, I gotta admit it. So I woke up this morning, it was about between 35 and 40 degrees. We're right now looking about the third week of August. So the nights are getting cold. The days are still up around the 80s, 90s. Sorry if having a hard time talking, but I am freezing my freaking, yeah, I'm cold. So but anyway, you can see the full moon, again, the Sierra Nevadas, and also the Bridgeport Valley. So we are just right now on the east side, about northeast side of Yosemite National Park, up in the Masonic mountain range. So this is a mining district that actually had a lot of success back in the early 1900s with the mines. Yesterday I was out scoping out some other mines in the area, one being the Masonic mine and the Pittsburgh Liberty mine. Those areas are cool. A little bit of a ghost town remains, some of the old mining structures and buildings. But the reason why we're filming today is because I wanted to show you this particular mine. I'm right on the side of it. I will go around to the front here in a second. But this one here is about 5 miles away from the Masonic mine. It's still in the Masonic mining district on the Masonic mountain. And again, we are on the east northeast side of Yosemite National Park. Probably the next largest sized town would be Bridgeport, which I will be in later today. But this mine that we are going to be going through, we'll do a quick go through. Won't take up a lot of your time, but this mine is called the sheh-MUNG mine, and it's pronounced Chemung, sheh-MUNG mine. And though back in the day there were a lot of Chinese immigrants that worked these mines, this mine has nothing to do, as far as the naming goes, this mine has nothing to do with Chinese heritage. Sheh-MUNG actually, sheh-MUNG, the way I understand it, is the city in Illinois where the individual who actually is the one that found the gold deposits in this area, I think his name was like Stephen Kavanaugh or something like that. Well, anyway, he was from a town in Illinois called Chemung. And so given that he was just a worker, he was not an owner, he really didn't profit much from the gold that he discovered out of here. But they thought, hey, well, let's just go ahead and honor the town that he came from and call this the sheh-MUNG mine. So here it is. This actually, there's a lot of structures out here. And you can see they're pretty dilapidated. Part of that is due just to the natural aging, being about 100 years old. But there's a lot of vandalism that goes on in places like this. People come out and they shoot the walls down these places. They take target practice. They graffiti, they paint, they steal stuff out of it, what have you. This spot's no different. It's seen all of that. But there's a lot going on out here as far as the buildings, the equipment left over. I mean, just like right here, in the center of the screen is a big loader that's just laying out here. But you're going to get your obligatory 55-gallon drums. You're going to find all of your jerry cans, your tin cans that used to have food, the sardines and the beer, all that stuff. And of course, you're going to have the one thing that you always see in places like this, and that's your old car. There's a couple of those floating around out here that we'll probably run past. But there's three main things I wanted to show you guys while I was out here. One of them just being a quick run through of the actual structures. A lot of these places are very similar in that they contained different sorts of mining cabins, mills, foundations, offices. This place is no different than that. You're going to get all that here. So that's one of the things I wanted to show you guys, is just do a quick run through on the different buildings here. But I also wanted to take you past I guess you can call it almost like a vein, a vein, an ore vein, where the ore was actually being mined out of the ground. And it's a vein that it's like trenches, that as they mine this stuff out of the ground, you could pretty much just trace the trench right up the hill and see where they're pulling this the gold. This was a gold mine back in I want to say it was founded back in like 1909, and it was operational for about 30 years before it finally shut down. Look at this look at this site. Again, this is the Sierra Nevada mountains. If I say Sierra Madre, that's by accident. It's Sierra Nevada mountains. And these guys here that worked this particular mine, they actually had a really good view. But anyway, there's three things I wanted to show you guys. I want to do a quick run through of the different structures, the different buildings. Some which look like this right here, an old mining cabin that has seen better days. There's quite a few of these out here that have fallen in various states of decay, disrepair, whatever. I wanted to show you that mine vein as it goes up the hill, and then a couple of the mine adits, or I guess you can kind of say the horizontal shafts that go into the mountains. Where do I want to start here? Just another. I'm not going to go into some of this stuff. We've seen it all before in previous videos. Just another mining cabin right here that, again, has seen better days. But here you have two different mills. You've got and a mill basically is where they brought the ore that they pulled out of the mountain, that they pulled out of the hill. They processed it. So they had big old stamp presses in there that they would load the ore into the basically process it through the press and try to refine it down to a point that we could actually extract the minerals that you're looking for, whether it was gold, silver, tungsten, whatever it might be. But this right here is a smaller mill hill, a smaller mill here. It's kind of weird because it almost looks like a barn, like an old farmyard barn. You can take a look at the roof here. That's pretty cool, actually. That's a smaller mill. There's conveyors in there, big old ore bins in there. And then right here is a bigger mill. I don't know why they had two mills here, but they did. I'm sure there's a history on that and reason why, but these are pretty cool. Mill number one is a smaller mill. Mill number two, and we'll run through those real quick. It's a little bit bigger mill there. And then here's your car. You got to have one of these at every single freaking ghost town. Is an old dilapidated shot up car. So don't know if that's an original or somebody maybe pulled that up here, I don't know, a couple decades ago and just stuck there. I have no idea what the hell the history on that is, but it's there. There's another one down. I actually camped up here last night, and we'll run through that area real quick right before we're done. But there's another dilapidated old junk car down there too. Here's another building, another small structure. This could have been an office of some sort. Again, seen better days. This is the larger of the two mills right here. And it still has some of the inner workings as far as the equipment goes. Again, they processed the ore in here and broke it down with the various presses that they had. before they transport it out for further refinement. This old stuff is pretty cool. Big concrete foundation right here. And just looking up at some of the machinery that process the ore. I don't know why, but this stuff I find pretty fascinating. So just given that it's got such a history to it, and that it's still out here just standing. And yeah, it's falling down. There's no question about it. Man, it is freaking cold out here is all I can say. So if the camera's shaking, it's not because I have palsy, it's because I'm freezing my ass off out here. But we're gonna make do. So just walking through this larger mill, several levels. This right here, I gotta be careful where I walk because these boards are giving out big time. You can hear it creaking. This was a big mill. This thing was massive. And they tried to do as much processing of the ore on site as possible before they transported it out here. Now, there were mines that basically did not have processing facilities. They did not have stamp presses and mills and what have you. So they take the ore, stick it in trucks, and truck it out to a mill that was on location. You know, it could be 20, 30, 40 miles away by the time that they got this stuff processed. Like I said, this was a quite impressive area right here because they didn't have just one mill, but it had two. And again, we are right now in the larger of the two. So coming over here to the second mill. Again, the sun's coming up. We are right now in the third week of August of 2024 here right outside the east, probably the eastern edge of Yosemite National Park at the sheh-MUNG mine here in California. I was at a couple of other area mines yesterday in this district that, yeah, they were cool. I don't know, this is pretty sketchy, doesn't it? These old stairs, we're gonna give it a shot. One of the two mines that we were at yesterday was the Masonic mine that actually had some buildings that were similar to this here. But the history on that was that it wasn't very successful. Just because there's so many other mines in the area. A lot of these mines were mismanaged, which was one of the main reasons for the downfall in a lot of these areas, a lot of these mines. Mismanagement, fires, what have you, forced a premature closing on some of this stuff. Here's a big bin right here where they load this stuff up into the chute. They'd come down and get processed before being carried out of here in trucks to other facilities. So this, but anyway, yesterday I was at the Masonic mine in the Liberty Pittsburgh mine, not too far from here. Again, a part of the this mining district here, right on the side of the Masonic mountain. This mine here was successful. The gold ore that was pulled out of here was good. There was a lot of it, and this mine ended up being, I don't know, what do you think? And we'll give it a shot, see what happens. This mine here was operational for just about 30 years before being shut down, and it's my understanding that it was shut down due to, like I said, mismanagement. There was other mines in the area, like a Bodie, that ended up being a better deal. So a lot of the efforts got shifted over to that mine. And that's a really cool area. Bodie Ghost Town is very well preserved. I think it's like a National Historic Site now. I'm not really sure about being up here, but I am. You can see some of the conduit that was used for the electrical work. And again, for being about 100 years old, this isn't too bad up here. So let me see if I can get over here and look down this bin. So as I kind of shimmy my way across here, give me 1 second. Yeah, that was pretty sketchy. So you can actually look down into the bin right here. So they'd load things up into the bin. It'd go down that chute and then be processed down below. See if I can get a picture of this with the sun coming up here. This is pretty much it for the buildings. These are all cool. We've seen them all before in one form or another at other sites. But sorry about the sun coming up. I can't control that. But this mountain or this hill is where a lot of the mining activity took place. Where you see that tree right there, that's where a lot of the troughs, the ore veins were being mined, and we're actually going to go up there and take a look because there are still holes in the ground right now to where that was happening. They've graded them off so you can't fall in there, but we can still see it. The piles like this here is rock that's been removed from the ground. So when you see a pile like that, a lot of times there's mining activity in the area. So this area right here is where we're going to head to next. Looking down over here, that's my Jeep right there. That's where I camped last night. And you can see another dilapidated old car right next to me. So it was cold last night, like I said. It was freaking freezing. But it is what it is. So I got my sleeping bag out, and we were fine. All right, let me get down from here. Again, I am going to shoot this video in one take. The only reason that there'd be two is if my finger accidentally hit the stop button, which every once in a while it does because that's who I am. These little rickety stairs here probably don't have much life left in them. As long as they are around long enough for me to get my butt down from there, I've been good. So, okay, cool. So that takes care of basically the buildings. Now we'll work our way out of here and hit the actual mountains. So it's going to take me a second to kind of climb up this, especially with only one hand. But we're coming out of that smaller mill right now, and you can just kind of see again some of the structures as they continue to fall. It's looking back. This here is looking back over the larger of the two mines, right there. I'm sorry, the larger of the two mills, right here. This here is the one that we just came out of. So. Okay, and now to get up this mountain here with one hand. So like I said, the way that they were taking some of the gold out of this particular mountain right here, or this hill, cliff, whatever you want to call it, is there was a mineral vein that they just traced right up the hill. And they were digging that up, and in doing that, it basically causes a trench, and it's an open pit. It's pretty much what it is. So throughout the last couple of decades, to help limit people, kids, animals from falling into these open troughs or these open pits, they have put grates over the top of them. You can still see down in there, I'll show you. And one or two of the grates have been pried open. There's an old wooden, looks like a cart of some sort or a track that was used. Another one back there. You just find all kinds of old wooden stuff like this laying around. Most of it, I don't know what it is. You can kind of look at it and form an opinion. It could be right or wrong, I don't know. So as we get up to where these open trenches are at here, where they were digging, so you can see, again, shooting back, and there's the mountains again. There's the mills that we just came out of, and you can kind of see here the open trenches as they basically just followed that mineral vein, that ore vein, that gold vein right up this mountain, and we're digging it out as they found it. And here are just a series of open trenches here as it goes up the mountain. So they've just followed that ore vein as it went up. And you can see, looking through the grate here, you can see where someone's pried. If I wanted to, I could get in there. And I looked into doing that. The problem is it's pretty much straight down. And you get down there, and without ropes, it's going to be very difficult to get back out of there. We will be doing a little bit of exploring here in a second. It's not going to be this particular spot right here, but you can just kind of see how the ground, basically, they just dug right through the ground just to dig that gold out. And then went right up the mountain here. And these are all open pits right here. This one's been caved in. This is actually one I'd like to get into, but I can't. So, but I can still look down there. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool there. It's probably a good thing this grate is on here, because otherwise I would be down in there looking around. Okay. Man, I am snotting everywhere. This cold weather's got to me pretty good. Okay. So coming up to the next trench here. Got an old water pipe coming out of there, it looks like. Again, this is where they dug the ore right out of the mountain. And here's the, if you can just kind of trace the path that they came right on up. So they found a good spot right here where all the gold was sitting right here, and they just traced it right up the mountain as they dug it out of there. So this one here is left uncovered because there's really not much going on here. I mean, if you fall down there, yeah, you could have some problems. I don't know. My limited experience with these types of things, I'd never seen something like this before, so I thought this was pretty cool. I thought maybe you'd enjoy seeing it too, the way they did this here. Now, that being said, there's also what is called, and we're going to start heading there right now, an adit. Again, I kind of explained this in the last video that I shot up at the Nightingale mine when we went walking through some of those open mine shafts. Here's the rock pile here. As they pulled the rock, the rock out of the ground, they had to get rid of it. This is all junk rock right here. So and they basically just blasted it out, pickaxed it out, hauled it out with ore carts and what have you, and they had to put it somewhere. So you'll see stuff like this laying next to mine sites all the time. So when you see a pile of rock like this, like the tailings, it's a pretty good indication that you're in an area where mining is taking place. Take a look at this. This marsh right here. You can see all these cows just chilling out there. And again, just scanning the Sierra Nevada mountain range. Absolutely beautiful up here. Elevation wise, I'm not sure what exactly we're at right now. I probably should know that. My guess, I think the Masonic mountain, which we're basically on the sides of it right now, I think that gets up to be about 9,500 feet. So we're probably about 8,000. That's probably a pretty good estimate there. I'm walking down towards the open mine adits right now. An adit basically is just an opening. Think of it as a mine shaft that is a horizontal entryway into a mine. And there's a pair of adits here that I found. There could be more, but I found 2 of them. I just did a quick walkthrough yesterday. Again, just more debris laying around. And we are going to start heading our way to those right now. They both at one time were graded off. Now when I say grate, I'm not talking about grade. I'm talking about grate, G-R-A-T-E, graded, grate like this right here. Steel and iron grates to try to keep people out of there. But human nature and prying eyes and all that stuff there. One of the grates is still in place. You can look through there. We're going to look through there, and I'll just show you kind of what's back there. The other one has just enough of an opening that if you contort your body just right, you can get yourself through there. Not that I would know. Actually, I would. I would know. I did a little bit of recon yesterday, just kind of see what was going on. I'm just gonna get out here and walk in the sun for a second, just because it's freaking warmer. Let's see, what more history about this? Supposedly, this mine has a poltergeist. That's what they say. And supposedly that poltergeist is only active on Saturdays. Don't know. The poltergeist is thought to have been a previous mine owner. Somehow he ended up at the bottom of a mine shaft. That's where they found his body. And they don't know if he fell or was pushed. But supposedly the poltergeist is him. And he only does this thing on Saturdays. Well, I'm here on a Tuesday just because that's when I'm here. Did I hear things last night? Yeah. Whenever you stay, like I'm the only one out here. So when you stay in places like this here, you hear rattling around. You've got a lot of this corrugated type metal like that right there. The sheetings. As the wind blows through here, it rattles out pretty good. And if you kind of forget where you are during the night when you're sleeping and you wake up to that, you're like, what the hell's going on? And I'm already pretty antsy anyway to begin with. So you start hearing stuff like that, and you start thinking about, well, there's a poltergeist here. And you start coming up with weird things in your head. So, you know, it is what it is. If I could have arranged to have been here on a Saturday, I would have. This is like an open pit at one time of some sort that is now all caved in. But anyway, so yeah, poltergeist on Saturday. So if you're going to come out here, you might want to think about doing it on a Saturday, or if that type of thing doesn't excite you, then don't do it on a Saturday. But this is a cool site. Like I said, I was at a number of them yesterday, and they were okay. Nothing worth filming. Got here yesterday, and I thought, yeah, this is pretty substantial here. So, all right, as we head around the side to those open adits, again, here's just another shot of the smaller of the two mills. And that would be the bigger of the two. And where we were just at with the open trenches was going right up the side of this mountain right here, all the way to the very top. And where the open adits are right underneath. You can kind of see right here. There's one right there. And there's actually going to be another one right next to it. Right there. And again, those are both on this same mountain where they're doing the mining. So where we were looking down through the grates at the open holes, kind of thinking, wow, it'd be kind of cool to get down in there. Though we didn't have access from up there, these open adits right here basically give you the same access from underneath. So as we work our way back here, I'll show you the one first of all that is still closed off. This is like an open pit at one time also that has since been caved in, filled in, whatever you want to call it. So here's the first one right here. This one remains blocked off. And it's actually kind of cool. You look in here and there's an old bench right here. And as we kind of squeeze back in here, you can kind of see maybe that I do have a light. Let me pull my light out here real quick and see if it help out a little bit. Starting to warm up nicely out here now too. Okay. So if you can kind of see back in there, you can see where it looks like it probably kicks off to the right as far as an open pathway. On the left here, you're going to have a couple of wooden shelves that probably at one point held tools. Yeah, that's my guess. What was probably stored there is tools and whatever equipment that they needed for the drilling and for their daily operations. Again, you can see the wooden structures that are being used to quote unquote hold the rocks up. A latch for the old door that was on here at one point. So this is a cool little area. This is a cool adit. Again, it is graded off. I've already tried to pull on this to see if I can get in there. That is not an option. So coming back out of here, I will take you to the second adit that is right next door. Like I said, there could be more adits around here, but these were the two that I found. And I just happened to look over here and see these things. I'm like, whoa. Okay, this is the second one here. And at one point it was sealed off. Kind of still is, but for some reason there is enough of a gap on the side here to where you can squeeze through. And that is what we are going to do. I am well aware of the fact that I am in a area that is prone to cave-ins, and especially given that California has seems to have a problem with earthquakes. I can imagine that every time they have an earthquake, a little more of this caves in. Let's just hope that today is not a day that the earth decides to shake. Okay, looking around, you can see the wooden frame that they used to help support things. And you can actually feel the cold wind. Not that that's what I want to feel right now, but the cold air blowing out of here from inside the earth. It's blowing out towards the opening right there. That's where we just came in. So as we work our way through here, there's a couple of different things I want to show you in here. There's a way down there, so keep this one in mind, because we will be revisiting this. So, and looking up, and as we continue to push forward through here, you can see again where they've got wooden support here, just kind of holding things in place. And through here, again, keep this in mind too, so we will be revisiting this area. Okay, as we work our way through here, we're not going to get very far here, and I'll show you why here in a second. As you look down, I gotta be real careful where I step. This is looking down here at this lower level that basically just keeps going. We will be down there in a second. And it can be obviously going this way. It's gonna be a different way. Okay, so working our way back this way here. We were just looking up here, and we are now gonna go through here. You got your rat droppings everywhere in here. I guess if I was a rat, I'd probably want to live in here too. This is pretty cool. Okay. And as we just continue to push our way forward here in the old sheh-MUNG mine. And this is getting pretty narrow in here now. Found a nickel. I am leaving that here. So, and it basically ends. Well, it doesn't end, it ends for us right here. I don't know how much further you can go up there, but it gets pretty tight. And same thing for over here, it's pretty tight also. I'm just looking there real fast. Yeah, these kind of come to an end. That one comes to an end right there. this one here. Let's see what's back there real quick. It doesn't look like it goes very much further either. There's a rat. There's a rat right there. There's a rat nest, a rat. See that? Yeah. That's a big one too. I'm gonna let him be. I don't need to get the old hantavirus today. I take ivermectin. I don't know if ivermectin treats a hantavirus or not, but it's all good. So, all right. So there you go. You guys just saw your first mine rat. We work our way back through here real quick. Trying to video this as best as possible, given the angles I have to contort and move. So if you are just seeing a dark ground, I apologize. I will try to. You see a bunch of these where the rats have brought in. The rats have brought in their version of insulation to stay warm and to build nests. Here's another rat nest up here, right there. You can see that. There you go. You can see where they've got pieces of paper, pieces of trees that they use to build their nests. Okay, so now to go back to that first side entrance that I said keep this in mind. It's right here. Maybe that's why my nose is running so much. Got the old hantavirus. Okay, so we are gonna go down there. Let me just figure out how we're gonna do this here. I've been down here already. Not today. I was down here yesterday. I was kind of scoping around. Okay, so as we looking forward here. Okay, so if you remember, I said, when I said look down there, we're gonna be down there soon. This is where I was talking about. We are right now down there. And we were at, when I said that, you can see how they've got all kinds of different structural supports up in the walls. I mean, this thing just keeps going forever. But anyway, we were right up here, up in that little entryway right there when I was pointing down saying we will be down there soon. Well, we are now down here. So we came in a different way. And looking around here, looking up, just the way that these guys built these things and did their best to use logs, other wooden beams, any kinds of metal, any kinds of basically anything just to jam into these open spots to keep this place from caving in. It's absolutely amazing what they've done. Okay, so going forward here as we walk through this area, I thought this was cool as hell when I saw this. As I've mentioned in previous videos, in a former life, I was a cave diver. One of the things I always wanted to do was to dive open mines, because a lot of these mines, they do get filled up with water. And just like how this one's, the areas that we've been are dry right now. I'm just looking up there, seeing sun coming through that opening up there. I gotta think that that was one of the troughs, that was one of the trenches that we were looking down before, because that would make sense, because we're right underneath that right now. There's a log right there that's broke. That's not a good sign for me, but there's another one that is splitting, that is being stressed out. Looking all the way up there. So we are underneath where those open trenches were at, and we were looking down through the grates. This is what we were looking down at, is down here. But anyway, in certain areas of the world, these types of mines are completely filled up with water, and divers can go through these mines and dive them. They go through them. So I've done that extensively with caves. I've never done it in mines before. It's one thing I always wanted to do. Just never got around to doing it. What we've got down here coming in front of us here is something I thought was really cool. And the tunnel camp mine that we did north of Reno, kind of north by Lovelock, north of Reno. Remember how I said that area was developed to pump water out of mines, because a lot of the problems that some of these mines had was that they'd fill up with water and they couldn't do their business if it was full of water, so they had to do what they could to get water out of there. Some mines were forced to shut down because of that. They could just never get it dry enough to work. This was not one of the mines. However, you can see that the groundwater has actually gotten to a point where it has flooded out part of this mine. Look at this. So I have no idea how deep that is right there, but if you take this, it doesn't look like it's that deep, but that type of thing can be deceiving. But if you were to trek yourself across this water, you can pick up on the other side and keep going through this mine. You can see where it just keeps going. So this part of the mine's flooded. I don't know if it was like that when they were actually working this mine 100 years ago. I have no idea. But, you know, they had ways of getting some water out of here, and some of this water they could deal with. They could still work through here. But still, it got so bad in these other mines where it got so flooded that they couldn't work at all. So I thought this was really freaking cool. And again, looking up at that open hole up there, we can see the sun coming in. That again is what we were looking down at before from the open trenches. And now looking back at where we need to go to get out of here, we've probably pushed our luck far enough. And there's really nothing more that we can do in here as far as looking around. We've gone as far as we can. In this adit here, going through that open adit. Again, there's looking up at the at one of those open trenches that we were looking down through before. And yeah, it's cold down here. It's probably, hell, it's probably 10 or 15 degrees colder down here than it was outside. And it was cold outside. So, that being said, just do another quick scan, look around here before we head out. And that's our way out, is climbing, shimming our way through this little restriction right here. All right, let me get my butt through here. All right, there's the way out right there. We've been back in there. That's that was really cool. So let me turn this light off here. Don't need that anymore. As we head out of here, that right there is a quick walkthrough of the sheh-MUNG mine. I thought this one was really cool. I'm gonna keep this one down as another place, or as a place to come back to. There's a couple different ways to get here. The way that I got here yesterday, because I wanted to go see those other mines, my route yesterday was long and laborious as far as the travel goes. And in times it was rough, but it doesn't have to be that way. If you come up through Bridgeport, it's a city, it's a small town, it's a real small town. We're outside Yosemite. If you come up through Bridgeport, it's only about 3.5 miles that way. Coming up Jeep Trail, it's fairly well graded. It's okay, but it's a lot easier to do it that way than it was the way I came. That way I will be going back. So I'll be going back. I won't be retracing the steps that I was on yesterday, because that'd take me back up into the mountains. I've done that. I'm heading down into Bridgeport right now and heading towards another mine site. They actually have to hike into. It's about a 3.5 mile hike. It's called Lundy May. And that's on the other side of Bridgeport, closer to Yosemite. And I will be doing that within the next couple of days. It's supposed to be a really good mine site. Ghost town, I don't know, I've never been there before. I don't know what the hell that is. But I'll be doing that. Other than that, I am now starting to make my way south as I go back and forth across the Nevada-California border, heading towards Arizona and parts of Mexico. Again, this is August. I will be back to Florida by late October, the first part of November at the latest. So I have reached the apex part of my route, the furthest part away from Florida that I can get, which was basically Reno. And from Reno, I started heading south again. And we'll loop around Southern California, Southern Arizona, and work my way east, 1,800 miles from basically New Mexico back out to Southern Florida, where I'm from. So there you go. This was a great mine site here. I really enjoyed this one. Lots of structures to look at. It's got the open trenches up there on the hill that I've never seen before. It's got the open adits right there. The openings that we just came out of. And it's got all your usual suspects as far as your old cars, your tin cans, your metal cans, your jerry cans, your 55-gallon drums, your old pieces of equipment. It's got all that crap laying around here. So there we go. It is really starting to warm up now, so I'll be changing out these pants here shortly. Okay, cool. One last look at the Sierra Nevadas in the background there. A quick scan over the different mills that are on site. A couple of different buildings. and the actual area that they were mining gold from. Again, this was a very successful mine, lasted for about 30 years, basically forced to shut down due to mismanagement and just other mine sites in the area that were a little bit more productive, like Bodie. Bodie was a big one, B-O-D-I-E, huge. Okay, man, this is freaking beautiful out here though. Look at this. There you go. I will actually be doing quite a bit of hiking and other things in this range the next couple of weeks. So if there's anything extraordinary that I think that everyone else has to look at and see, I will definitely fire up the camera again. So, okay, that is all from here. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be talking with you guys later. Out.